Question is whether there'll be 7 or 8 as Olynyk gets the bucket and a foul on Los Angeles. Vanderbilt commits the foul.
Welcome back. We're in the third quarter. Jazz and Lakers from Crypto. Like and subscribe. Support the channel by donating. The link and the information are in the description. Also will be in the chat. Happy Sunday. Let's get it.
All right, let's go ahead and check in with Katie George.
Yeah, guys, I had a chance to speak with Darvin Ham coming out of the locker room. He said he liked the way that his team closed the second quarter. He said we had more pride individually on defense, but he said we allowed them to get inside of us with a 10-point differential in the paint. He said on offense, we have to continue to play fast and collapse the defense. He said we've got to get back to being physical in the paint as well in the second half.
22-5 advantage in fast break. I mean, that's how the Lakers have been all season. They've gotten out, they've played with pace.
Utah back within 6, and Olynyk comes over to get the block. Reeves and Russell quick catch, and eventually Russell hits a 3.
But 2 straight possessions where Vanderbilt's activity, the youth, the bounciness, the length and athleticism Vanderbilt brings helps. 2 possessions where his opportunistic offensive rebounding pays dividends for his guys.
Traded by Utah to the Lakers mid-season in his 5th year. Turned 24 years old earlier this week. Davis in the lane. He'll go to the line. His first trip to the line. That free throw by Olynyk for Utah earlier was the first of the game for the Jazz. And the foul is on Šamanić, his first, and the first on Utah. Year 11 for Anthony Davis. You look at his numbers since James returned from injury. Anthony Davis has missed 114 games the last 3 years, but when healthy, we've seen that he can be as good as anybody in the game. We saw it in the bubble when they won the NBA championship 3 summers ago. Davis with 10 points. He averages 26 per game. Also close to 13 rebounds per game, which is a career best. And I'm going to call a foul here on Vanderbilt. He thought he got run into, but they're going to say that he stuck his leg out. 2 on Vanderbilt. The 1, 2, 3, 6, and 10 seeds are set in the West. 1 through 10 is set in the East. And obviously over the next hour or so, we'll figure out 5 through 9 in the West. Clippers are losing at halftime to the Suns, which makes things really interesting if that holds. Davis with the rebound off the Abaji miss.
Well, according to our research people, if the halftime scores were to hold, so even with the Lakers up, as you say, it would be Warriors 5, Pelicans 6, Clippers 7, Lakers 8. So you could have a scenario where the Lakers and Clippers square off. You wouldn't have to fly, but you'd be facing a team that's beat you consistently.
Swept them this year. I think it's 11 in a row.
Lakers ain't worried about that. That's play-in. That's playoffs. It's a whole new ball game. We ain't playing, boy. Forget the Clippers.
More game against the 9-10 winner, and then if you were to win that, you'd be the 8th seed. This is right now coming into today. Lakers currently in 7th. Again, 1, 2, 3, 4 are set. 10 is set. Oklahoma City's going to have to play on the road. 9-10, you have to win twice to get into the playoffs. And in that scenario you said, with all the teams winning right now, if that holds up, the Pelicans then would be in 6th. They would take on Sacramento in the first round as Dunn gets inside and gets the basket.
And you know the team that gets so little run or love or conversation? The Denver Nuggets, who are going to finish the most as LeBron gets another 3 to go. And boy, that jump shot looks pure, and he looks really confident, Dave.
It's his 4th 3. He's got 20 points. Dunn gets another basket, but the Lakers up 12. And if the Lakers end up getting up big, that's the other thing to keep an eye on is, does Darvin Ham as Katie reported at the start of the game, he doesn't want to know what the other scores are.
Right.
But if there's a lot of chirping on the bench, hey, we need to get these guys out because we got to play in 2 nights, and we want to make sure that we don't get anybody hurt. Be interesting to see how many more minutes those guys play. James is right now at 17. Obviously, we just started the third. Davis is at 20. Reeves and Russell are at 20 each. Turnover, and Avaji's going to get a freebie on the other end with the easy throwdown.
Not a single player from either side made it across that court. In fact, they were barely above the free throw line. It is game 82.
The opposite of the clear path violation.
Right.
Davis, turnaround jumper, no good. And he talked about the Lakers pulling away.
Great defense. Let's go, Lakers.
It's on a run here, and Šamanić gets to the basket and one.
And again, I go back to what happened the last time these two teams met. A 10-point advantage for the Lakers with under 2 to play. They lose it, have to win the game in overtime. But if you've watched Utah all season, they played with...
You ain't gonna give up no lead. Let's go, Lakers. Focus up. Let's go.
They're not going away, folks.
8-0
They're gonna have to go away.
Lucas Šamanić, who started out with the Spurs. Will Hardy was an assistant coach with San Antonio, worked closely with Šamanić. Will told us before the game that Lucas made great strides, really matured. 19 years old when he came into the NBA, spent last year in the G League, didn't want to go back to Europe, wanted to stay around for basketball here in the States, as James can ask. And it really...
Still the greatest.
22 for LeBron, but again, just a 7-point game. Dunn drives. Nice pass and the easy slam. Azubuike.
But Dunn's fingerprints all over this game. 11 points, 6 assists now, a couple of rebounds. Doing some good things, Chris Dunn.
He had 19 points, 14 assists yesterday. Davis alone, too. That's been about his range this year. We haven't seen, originally they wanted him to take and make a ton of threes this year. It didn't happen. He only made 19 on the season. And he didn't even take 100. Count the basket for Olynyk and another foul on Reeves. Another 3-point chance for Utah.
Good try, Austin.
Well, Olynyk is a guy who just, no matter the circumstance, this guy loves to play. There were some questions about whether he'd be in the rotation. You see Austin tries to sell it. That's an easy call.
10th year for Kelly Olynyk, played at Gonzaga. And he gets the Jazz within 4. Utah will miss the playoffs for the first time since 2016. They had been to the postseason 6 straight years, went to 3 conference semifinals during that time. Donovan Mitchell, a big part of that team. Rudy Gobert, a big part of that Utah run. And Gobert making headlines just a few minutes ago, throwing a punch at a teammate, Kyle Anderson, during Minnesota's game with New Orleans.
And just announced, I'm getting word from our ESPN research staff, Matthew Williams in particular, the Wolves saying Gobert is now out for the rest of the game. They trailed by 11 to New Orleans.
And the question is, will there be any sort of disciplinary action for the play-in tournament as Russell on the other end gets 2?
And I'm going to say this about the punch, the guy he punches, Kyle Anderson is directly responsible for the level of play of Rudy Gobert going up. And look at this, the Jazz bench. I'm telling you, this team, there's so much fight and spirit. The bench reacting, they're within 4. We got a game.